How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another daily chat. I'm Roy Canday, the host of this week's daily chat, or tonight's daily chat, and with me today, I have a very special guest, GloryHoundd. What's going on?
Hello, how are you doing today, Roy? I'm so happy to be on today.
Awesome. I'm super stoked to have you here. So hey, hit us up in the chat with all sorts of different questions. We're just going to be here answering questions, hanging out, talking, having a good time with all of you, having just a good positive experience. I hope everybody's, I know a bunch of people have already said, Happy Easter tomorrow. And of course, some people are like, here, it's already technically Easter, you know.
Well, geez, rub it in. They're already eating their chocolate. Like, that's not fair.
My wife was like, hey, you should go get like cookies and stuff like that. I'm like, we could just like crack into the Easter candy early.
Oh,
the kids don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you go search for Easter candy, you always search for the kids, and then you also are searching secretly for yourself. Like, there are specifics I get every year for myself, and then they get hidden away so the kids don't find them. I think that's the natural thing to do.
You accidentally buy too much candy to fit in the eggs, and it's like, well, I filled up the eggs. What do I do with all this extra candy?
Oops. I mean, you know what? Oh, darn, we're just going to have to eat all this. Dang it. Oh, I'm so upset right now.
Nice. So, Max Headroom says, anyone play anything today? Have you played anything today, GloryHoundd?
Hiding the Easter eggs. That's what I played today. I played a really interesting game yesterday, which was The Awful Green Things from Outer Space, which is like this really old 80s style game. It's an actual, like, the old paper maps with like little cardboard punch out chits and stuff like that. And it's a two-player game, and one of you plays as like aliens invading a ship, and then the other people play as the crew members, like just trying to like blow the aliens up and get the heck off the ship. So it's such a fun little, like, just old game. Like, I had so much fun playing that, and it was very different. It was good to kind of break up, like, and go back and visit something old that I liked, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I think Mark Street has said he's a really big fan of that one, but I've never actually played it before. I haven't actually got a chance to play too much today. Today was like hang out with the kids day and watch them play Minecraft and stuff like that. So.
Well, and of course everybody's doing Animal Crossing, so.
Oh yeah, there is that. Hi, Kabukikid saying hi to everybody. Lots of people just saying
Kabuki.
Hi and things like that. I am looking
Hello,
for
Battlecrie.
questions. Oh, Kabukikid asks, GloryHoundd, what is the origin of your handle? I guess you're GloryHoundd.
Oh, okay, that's a really good question. So, whenever World of Warcraft just started, whenever it just took off, we switched over to a server, and my significant other, Dr. GloryHoundd, was like, I'm making a character, and I'm naming him Dr. GloryHoundd. And I was so mad. I was like, that's such a cool name. I'm like, I need, like, a really cool name, too. So we ended up thinking of GloryHoundd, and so I've actually been running with the GloryHoundd name on pretty much any sort of video game I've ever played, like MMORPG, for a really long time now. Nice. So moving over to board games, it seemed like kind of almost like a natural sort of thing. Like, I'm GloryHoundd online. Like, that's just what it should be. Although after I was in the board game community for a while, I realized that like wasn't super normal, but I still like it. I still like being called GloryHoundd all the time. It seems normal to me.
That's very similar, like, to the Gamelin Games name of their company, because Gamelin Games is named off of Michael's World of Warcraft character. So
right,
there you go. And he finds a way to put Gamelin in all of their games. So
see, a lot of stuff spawned from World of Warcraft. Okay.
Yep. World of Warcraft and D&D, it's all over the place.
Very true. Very true.
Nice. Let's see. Any other good questions here? Everybody's still saying hi. I must be at the beginning of this chat.
Hello, everybody. I know I see some people in there that I usually talk to, Fatal Papercut and Battlecrie and stuff. I'm so happy to see you guys here.
So We Game Together, which I think is Ellen, says, question for GloryHoundd. Do you dye your own hair red? What, you don't want to ask about my hair? Thanks. That's messed up.
Yes, I do. When I dyed my hair red to begin with, I had somebody professionally do it. And then after that, I was like, I better figure out how to maintain this because I really liked it. So I actually, I do all of my own coloring on my hair. It's Manic Panic if anybody's interested in. It's pillbox red. Like, I basically bleach it and color it, and it stays so red for all of you people out there because I do conditioner and then red once a week. So you put like the Manic Panic and conditioner in there, and you put it in your hair and like you leave it there for about like 30 minutes and it like refreshes it, guys. So, but you will bleed color everywhere, like forever, okay? That's no joke.
Yeah, that's a sad thing about like different hair colors is that it's not ever like super permanent. You have to have a lot of maintenance and upkeep on it. I had a while back I did like a Patreon thing where they got to pick the colors of my hair. Like a really long time ago. What was this, like 2 years ago?
I remember that.
So my hair was like orange and purple for a while.
I remember that.
But yeah, I made sure to like keep it up, and like I used to always like I had 2 colors, so I'd have to like part my hair and color one side, and part my hair the other way and color the other side, and but yeah, I used to have colored hair like all the time when I was younger. So
when I go to conventions, man, I always put like, I wear like a nightcap for conventions because I always feel bad because there's always white sheets there. So I have like this cat nightcap that I wear at conventions, and it's ridiculous is what it is.
Gotcha. I'll try to turn myself up a little bit. One week I'm up too high. The next week I'm down too low. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, snap. Cool. Kabukikid says, Awful Green Things is a classic game.
It's so much fun. It's just one of those, like, even if you're not doing well in the game, it's so much fun to continue playing because of the ridiculousness of it. And it's so swingy where, like, all of a sudden the monsters are winning and there's like a million of them out there, and then boom, you hit them with something that like just explodes them and you're like, yes! And there's like so many back and forth feel good moments in it. It's a really good classic game, guys.
Battlecrie asks, question, what is the ideal size of a Lazy Susan? Do you use a Lazy Susan in your videos?
Okay, so that's a big thing for me in my videos because there was one game we were looking at on a Kickstarter and I thought it spun and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then once I finally got to the Kickstarter, I was so disappointed by the thing not spinning. I was like, I can't even back this thing. This thing is horrible. It doesn't spin. And so everybody was so nice to offer me the Lazy Susan idea. And so now I need a Lazy Susan for my board games. So, I mean, it has to be like an extra large Lazy Susan if you want to play a really big board game, right, guys? But think of how easy that would be, like if you were trying to get around the board, right? You just like spin it a little bit and then you can move your pieces. You don't have to move, you know?
As long as you don't have the one player that gets a little bit too aggressive and just goes whoosh, and spins the whole thing like crazy.
That's how you end the game. If you lose, you just whoosh, spin the Lazy Susan.
Spin the whole thing around. Make it happen.
That's right. Then it turns into a new game of pick up the pieces, so.
I guess so. That one doesn't sound... I mean, that's an interesting dexterity game, but probably not as much fun. Oh, snap. Nathan says, most anticipated upcoming release.
Oh, my goodness. What is it? Okay, so Plaid Hat is doing the Forgotten Waters, I think it's called, right?
I definitely don't have that sitting in the other room.
Oh my gosh. I saw that one at Gamma, and I'm a sucker for this storytelling and like the choose your own adventure style.
Oh, for sure.
You know, aspect that they're including into games and stuff.
And it's all voice acted, which is crazy.
I love it so much.
You just get to listen to them read the story to you.
And the art looks amazing. I love how the book flips open. Like, I love the little treasure chest piece that they have there where you can put all your bits into it. Like, I was so impressed by that game. I was like, guys, what a phenomenal game to have when you're going back to your brand and then being able to release that to everybody. You know, I was like, man, that is amazing.
I have to either figure out how to play it solo or figure out how to play it remotely because I stole Tom's copy because I'm like, I need to play this game. He told me I could borrow it. But yeah, I'm really excited to try it and put it on the table. I think they said that there's a way to play it solo maybe, but I don't necessarily want to like ruin the experience of not playing with other people at the same time. So I'm like kind of in this like situation where it's like, I want to play this game with a bunch of people, but I can't be around a bunch of people. So
yeah, I'm always torn by that too, because sometimes you can complete things faster when you go through it on your own. So in a campaign style game, you're like, yes, I want to go through all this content on my own, but it's like, oh, should I share with other people? I mean,
that's like, I really like playing Mansions of Madness solo. Like, I enjoy the game a lot solo, but I don't ever want to like play a new scenario that I haven't played yet, because it's so much of a better experience to do that with other people and work through the problems together. And it's never the same if I like play a scenario I've already played and pretend like I don't know,
Yeah, you figure it out all, and you just have to sit back. You're like, well, I don't know, guys. That is not as fun. But I can totally understand wanting to do it on your own, though, too, because it's exciting,
For me, most anticipated upcoming release, I'm really excited about Rise of the Red Skull, the big expansion for Marvel Champions. They're like actually adding story and like campaign into the game, and just adding like a bunch more content, because I've been burning through every single time a new thing comes out, like I'll play it like 4 or 5 times solo, and it's like, okay, cool, I played that, what's next? So I'm actually keeping up with it. They just delayed everything for it, but I'm like, man, I need more. So I'm excited when that finally comes out. But if we're talking about Kickstarters, I'm really excited about Ankh, which is supposed to be Tuesday, I think.
That's right. Like, that one looks really good too. And you kind of got to play it a little bit, so I immediately started grilling you for like stuff. I'm like, how is it? What happened? Like,
I shot a first impressions video that I'm still editing together. But yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Eric Lang has definitely done it again. It's crazy how he can make these games feel sort of like the same, with like gods and monsters and like player boards and leveling up your little like. It's gods in this one instead of like clans, but like your faction, you're leveling that up. But then at the same time, make the mechanics like so different in each of these games. Like, none of them feel like the same game. So it's pretty crazy.
Right?
Yeah, this
he does such a good job.
Yeah, that one's very different, because it's like you're on a board and there's like a hex grid that you're moving around, like, and there's like the Nile River and there's different parts, and you're trying to battle over the different areas and build cool monuments, and you're trying to like keep your devotion for the different people coming up, because you don't want to be forgotten as a god. It's very interesting. I'm excited. I know yesterday Tom actually had Eric Lang on the last episode, so make sure to check that out if you want to listen to Eric talk about it a little bit more. But they didn't go too much in depth of the game, but they mostly just talked about random stuff like superheroes. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Eric Lang is so much fun to talk to. He's like he's such a great guy. Like, I never have a bad conversation with Eric.
What is this question? Battlecry must just be doing inside jokes. What is your favorite space samurai show?
Oh my gosh.
Is he just making fun of you?
I know, right? This was another thing. Okay, so I watched The Mandalorian,
did you say it was a space samurai?
It's so good, but here's the thing. I hate Westerns, first off. I don't know what it is about Westerns. Westerns are like a drama show, but for like, I don't know, people who really enjoy Westerns. But it's almost like one of those like corny drama shows. That's every single Western has that plot, right?
Yeah.
And Dr. GloryHoundd was talking to me, and he's like, The Mandalorian's actually like a space Western. And I was like, what? Oh, heck no. I'm like, this is not a space Western. How dare you say such a thing? It is not space Western. And there was a huge debate the other day on our channel about whether The Mandalorian was a space Western or not. And we ended up where we looked it up. And this is really interesting, actually. They had taken beats from Western movies, and as well as like samurai movies, in order to make The Mandalorian. So I was proved wrong, and I was really, really angry about it.
Maybe you just have to admit that you actually love Westerns.
No, I'm not doing it. Not a space Western. Serenity is a space Western, okay, guys?
Anton asks, what kind of games are you into, GloryHoundd?
Okay, that's a really good question. So I like a lot of different games. I really like strategic games, though. And I like fantasy games, too, or fantasy-based games where there's a lot of storytelling and stuff going on. I guess not necessarily just fantasy, but storytelling, So campaign-based games. I like big, long games that are just very interesting to play or very strategic, because I'm the sort of player that I will start a game and then I have a plan, and I want to see all the beats happen for that plan to be put into action, and then at the end see a really amazing resolution. I am not as big a fan of like reactive games or dexterity games or like dice rolling games and stuff like that where there's a lot of luck involved. So it's, yeah, I'm a strategic gamer, I would call myself, you know, like, and I'll play pretty much anything. I've played miniature games, I've played war games, you know, I play lots of video games and stuff. I've been a gamer for a pretty long time now.
Yeah,
play all the things.
Me and GloryHoundd did a Spaces Between podcast as well, where we talked a lot about like tastes in games and like what we thought like made people have certain tastes and things like that. It was a lot of fun.
And that was so much fun. That was such interesting insight that was brought up in that. It was so much fun.
I'm just excited that you're such a, like, you say that you're a strategic gamer, but you like a whole lot of theme in that game as well, which I'm a big fan of as well. So I think that's awesome.
That's the perfect creation. If you have all that strategic gaming and the theme put together, and then you're like, it's amazing.
Samuel asks, what's your favorite game mechanism? Dang, picking a single mechanism is kind of weird. It's like hard to make happen.
Well, I mean, I really area control and then strategic movement in games. That's what I really excel at. So if I'm going to play a game where you have any sort of area control, I just do exceptionally well in those sort of games. And that is kind of like the callback to those sort of like war games or miniature games, is like I really enjoy strategically positioning troops and stuff like that and taking over territories, defending territories and stuff. So those are probably among like my favorite games, but there's so many cool things that people are coming out with now. Like, it makes it hard to choose, you know? I mean, what is it? In Barrage, I played Barrage like the other day, and that's it has some area control in it because you're protecting like these little lakes and stuff like that, and you're building up dams, and then maybe you can build a dam before somebody else to try to take that away from them. So there's area control in it. But the mechanism in that where you put your resources on that little turnstile table and you have to wait so many turns for it to come around or try to like force that wheel around, like that was such an amazing way of managing resources in that game. And that, like I said, it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, people are coming out with such amazing things. Like, I love that there's so much creativity and people are always trying to push different boundaries and different things in board games and come up with something new. Like, it makes just a regular area control game so much more fun when I have a whole different thing that I can use and think about, like a new puzzle. You know, that's the best part about board games. It's a new puzzle to figure out.
I think I have to agree. I really enjoy area control games as well. Like, majority of like my top favorite games have that area control element. I really enjoy like trying to figure out where your opponent is going to be and where they're going to strike and how they're going to move, or even games where you can try to like manipulate that a little bit. Like, hey, like maybe we should, maybe don't attack. Maybe we'll be friends over here on this side, but they're the real threat. I don't know. I love the dynamic of table talk and like talking around the table. What, even if everybody's table talking and ganging up on me, I still enjoy the verbal like banter and trying to figure that sort of thing out in an area control game. Like, no, I'm really not winning. Please don't attack me. Okay, maybe you probably should. Okay, I deserve that. But now they're the threat. Let's go get them, you know?
Exactly. That like, that just fun. Plays into it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. What? What does this even mean? Nathan says, Roy, do you make your own hair look so awesome? ? I just put gel in it and spike it up for like a decade.
He makes up like that. He's like,
sometimes. I don't put that much thought into it. So, yeah, doing the hair dye thing is definitely way more difficult.
Yes.
Who has the best hair in the dice tower? I would say Z. Z definitely has the best hair.
What?
I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's definitely Mandy. She has amazing hair.
Oh, yeah, Mandy's hair is always on fleek.
Right? Her whole outfits and stuff. I was like, dang, girl, you always look good.
Nathan again asks, Roy, did you really like the Marvel Champions Thor? It's hard to tell. So when I did, my review for this actually just came out today, and I kind of was like, it's really hard to play, and like the deck isn't that great, like as a structure itself. So I understand why it'd be confusing to be like, if I really liked it. I like the fact that it's another character. It gives you a lot of actually really cool cards that you can deck build with. So I definitely think that like the deck itself is good. If you're gonna like get them in order, like it might be the last one you get. Like if you're being like, do I want to get Captain America? Do I want to get Miss Marvel? Do I want to get Thor? Who do I want to get first? Thor might be the last one to get because it'd be hard to play by itself. But I think I think it is fun and it's interesting, and I'm excited to see how I can deck build and stuff with it in the future. I've done a lot of deck building with it since I shot the review, so I'm really excited to play more games now that I've mixed it up even a little bit more. But it's just like any of those games, like some characters are a little bit more powerful or a little bit less powerful when they come out, but there's probably cards down the road that are going to make it ridiculous, you know? So you just got to
absolutely
deck build the right combo.
Right? Some of that deck building fun.
What's the best TTG? I don't understand how to say this. How is this supposed to be? Okay, best TTG non-RPG that has the best replayability. I'm just gonna say, what's the best RPG that has the best replayability? Or trading? What's TTG or TCG? I'm so confused.
Yeah,
now.
I was thinking TCG. It was like, well, okay, so for me, the RPG that I play the most, just like straight, like, you know, pen and paper sort of game, would be Cobalt Date My Baby. Have you ever?
Yeah. You were telling me about that.
Yeah. So because it is super easy to get set up and play, and it has such a fun theme where you're little kobolds and you're running around and you're like those little level 1 monsters that everybody kills, and you have like this amazing journey, but off of like such a small scale where you're like battling dogs and chickens and stuff for things, you know? So that's my favorite on that. Trading card games though, like I'm a Magic player, so like it's hard to top Magic. Like there's
do you
lots
still
of things
actively play much, or what format do you play as well?
Arena online and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I usually end up playing. I haven't gotten to recently within like the last few months and stuff like that. I want to say probably like 5 years ago, I did like competitive Magic stuff because Dr. GloryHoundd really loved doing it and everything. I was like, all right, well, I like playing Magic too. Like I'll go along with you and everything. And I just didn't like the scene, I guess, that much.
I know what you're talking about. I've definitely seen it. So
like I'm always a super friendly player and stuff like that, whether I'm winning or losing and stuff like that. And a lot of people just get really upset, which is 100% understandable in Magic. You're building your own decks. You have like, and especially playing Standard. We played Standard. So being able to play online is like this amazing freedom where I don't have to like talk to other people across the table if I don't want to.
It always made me so sad because I would go to like Friday Night Magic and I'd sit down and like try to strike up a conversation with the person across the table from me who I didn't know, and a lot of times they're like, is he trying to pry me for some sort of information? I'm like, no, I'm just trying to play this silly card game about wizards and have fun doing it, you know?
Yeah. Overall though, there's so many different cards and stuff like that, and it's like building that deck on making something work. Again, it's that engine and puzzle solving that you get to do. And me building the decks was like my favorite thing to do. And with online, you have like your whole card catalog that you can see right there. You don't have to go search stuff down. Like they made it insanely simple, you know, like I don't know if I would go back. I played Hearthstone for a while though.
I actually played Hearthstone a lot too.
Yeah.
I went to, they had like these fireside chats. So I went to like a board game cafe sort of thing and did one of these fireside chats and was playing Hearthstone. I was trying to table talk with the guy across the room that I was playing. I was like, oh no, don't play a board wipe. Oh, you did. You killed all my guys. Good game, man. And he's just looking at me like, why is this guy talking right now? I'm like, I'm trying to have fun, play the game.
Have fun with me right now.
It doesn't matter, win or lose. Let's have fun.
Right, exactly.
In Magic, what's your favorite color?
Definitely black. I mean, definitely black.
I'm pretty sure black is my favorite color too, which is kind of crazy.
Is it? It's usually mono black, and then I'll usually play white black as well. So that's like my second choice combination is a white black, you know, like maybe like a life gain or something. But I really love the riskiness of, yeah, whatever, let this hit me or like drain my life, this, that, and the other, and being able to carry out, you know, combinations knowing, okay, I can lose this amount of life, but I'm either going to make it up with this or like I'm going to kill them before it gets to that point. So it almost becomes like a gamble with yourself. And I don't know why, but I really enjoy that portion of it. Oh,
yeah. I thought you were going to say I play red-black vampires, and I was going to be like, that's too stereotypical.
No. You know what? The red ones are like too fast for me, like, because they're so fast and they burn out. Yeah, they burn out so quickly and everything. And I like a little bit more stability. I don't want to have the pressure of like being able to finish somebody in 3 rounds and like, that's it. Or just like I'm going to end up losing the game because of it. So,
Anton asks, why Kickstarters and how did you get into covering Kickstarter projects?
Okay, well, back in the day, a long time ago, we did a podcast, and at the time I was just backing Kickstarters because Kickstarter was newer to the community and lots of people were on it, and I really loved the fact that there was people's ideas out there that they wanted to get funded to make board games, right? And that's when I joined Kickstarter, when little people were still putting their projects up there and then getting them funded, and then we would have these amazing, well, we always have amazing Kickstarter projects, but we'd have these amazing new companies get started, like Gameland Games, you know, like that was one of the first Kickstarters that I ended up backing, you know, where I got introduced to it. So as I was backing all these Kickstarters, all of a sudden I was like, well, I've been doing this for a while, and I kind of realized what are good games, what are games that aren't quite put together yet. Like, why don't I share that information with everybody? Because there's lots of people that are starting to come into the community that might not know everything that's happening in the community. And sometimes there can be really hard decisions to make where you're putting your money. Like, is this a trusted company? Is it not a trusted company? Is this Kickstarter fully put together, and does it look like they have a final product? Or is this just kind of barely pieced together and you're going to spend the next 3 years waiting for this game? And so with my podcast, I started discussing that. And then eventually I brought it to video just because of the fact that when I was talking about it on a podcast, it was so hard to convey to people what I was talking about. Yeah. So visually, it just makes sense. It was like, you can see exactly what I'm talking about on this page as we're talking about it. And I don't have to describe anything, make references. Like, you can just see it. And so it came together as such like a natural thing with our video show that we just completely stopped doing the podcast and we switched over to the video, and we haven't went back. So I really enjoy doing the video portion of it because I feel like and I love the fact that people comment all the time on those Kickstarters because there's things that I can miss that somebody else can say something in the chat or have a question, or maybe sometimes the companies are in the chat as well to answer questions for our community and stuff. And it becomes almost like a huge community building thing. And I feel like that's how Kickstarter should go. Kickstarter is community, you know? You communically fund projects. Like, why wouldn't you talk about it? Yeah, why don't you talk about it as a community as well, you know?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think Kickstarter coverage is really important because I know for me personally, when I look at board games, I want to like know everything there is like before I put my money down. I like to watch reviews. I like to see like coverage of the game overall. It's just so hard with Kickstarters because the game is not fully realized yet. It hasn't been in full manufacturing. Even the people who are doing previews just have a prototype version. So it's like the more information you can get out there about it can help the consumer make like an actual informed decision about the game. And
I think that's
such
huge.
an interesting thing.
Yeah,
and
that's huge.
And Kickstarters are so huge in the board game community. I mean, it's not a thing that's going away, and it's just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So more Kickstarter coverage and more information about it is important.
I totally agree because at this point there's so many of them out there there's not a way to make a decision without like going to other sources, because there's so many of them to choose from, you know. Like I know I can't personally back everything, so I need to know
sure. Even
where
though
I
you
want to
try.
put my money to. I do try. I do try.
You're telling me that you guys have like Kickstarters coming in like almost every day at your house. That's insane.
Oh my gosh. At least weekly something shows up and I'm like, oh yeah, like I forgot about this. I should go check that off my list. Hold on. I'm so excited to play this. I looked back on last year's Kickstarters and I was so surprised I was like, that was just last year. Like, I feel like I've already played it a ton of times. It almost feels old because we talked about it and then we received it last year, you know, so we might have talked about it the year before that. So like, it's just so crazy how fast it goes with everything. Oh my gosh.
So Ross asks, what's your favorite Kickstarter game ever? And what's your most anticipated Kickstarter game right now?
Oh my gosh, so many hard questions. My favorite Kickstarter game ever was probably, okay, well, I'm gonna have to actually name two, okay? Because Arcadia Quest, we like backed everything from every single one of those. We love playing Arcadia Quest. We played it like a million times. It's fun to play. I love playing it, but the most exciting one that I've backed, that I've played and everything, has probably been Zombie 15. Do you know what Zombie 15 is? It's like an ILO game. It was sort of like a zombicide sort of looking game where you're running through things, but you only had 15 minutes to do it.
Oh, crazy.
So you literally set a clock and you had to like run through there as fast as possible. Zombies are coming out of everywhere. Like you hear a little thing happen on a track and you dump zombies out on the table wherever somebody's at and they can just get overran. And you're trying to do the same sort of stuff you're doing in like Zombicide, but it's only in 15 minutes. And I call that game like a heart attack in a box. And it was probably my favorite Kickstarter that I've ever backed because, you know, you get a bunch of special characters with it and stuff. And it was such a fun, unique idea to take this huge game where you're trying to dungeon crawl across something and then make it into that 15-minute, you know, where it's, oop, that's it. Like, it's super stressful. And gosh, ones that I'm most excited about right now, probably Starlight, I think.
I want to know more about the game. Did you guys do a preview for that or anything? Or
we did not get a chance to do a preview for it, but
I want to know more about it. I want to know if it's good. Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell.
So the concepts of the game and everything, where I really enjoyed the fact that you're rolling the dice and then you're using those for movement as you're going through and different actions that you're doing. You do have where you can program your ship to basically move across a map a certain way and have special actions that it does. And then I love the storytelling features of it where you can land on planets. Yeah, and then have like these experiences happen. So you can have like your space battle. You can have the planets that you land on and you do cool stuff on. And it's a storytelling game. And you can upgrade your characters as you get experience and stuff. And it was such a huge campaign game that included some of my favorite moving around and strategic movement mechanics in it that I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it just hit me home for me. I was like, this I have to back. So we definitely backed that game.
I would love if that game has like, because I was looking at the cards and the way you move around on it, it looked a little bit like Seventh Continent. Like if it has like a fact of where it's like, okay, do you want to land on this planet? Okay, draw this card out and like you start with this card and now you can explore from there. Oh my goodness, it'll be really cool and I'm hoping that it's good. I just haven't seen much coverage from like people that I know that have looked at it yet. So it's
haven't seen enough coverage from it.
I feel like whenever the company's sort of newer maybe and they didn't have a whole lot of people on it, so I don't know anybody who's actually played it. So it's like that's another one of those consumer things. It's like I need more help as a consumer to know, because I mean games can look really, really good and then sometimes not.
They can nowadays. Usually, yeah, absolutely. With this one, we ended up having where they joined our chat during our Kickstarter
awesome.
show. And so they were there to answer any questions anybody had about the game as they were going through and everything. And it's just one of those ones that I couldn't pass by. They filled in all the boxes for me. I was like, check, 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 check. Like, I'm going to end up backing your campaign. That one, and there was another Vampire the Masquerade game. What was it? It wasn't Vendetta. It was, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It was another sort of dungeon crawl style game.
Was it a LARP? No, I'm just kidding.
No, right? It almost seemed like it. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the
I think I
name
remember seeing that. Was that the one that had did it have miniatures and stuff in it as well?
Yes.
A bunch of different characters?
Yes. I had been watching that game for quite a while. And I was trying to get a hold of the company. I was like, you guys contact me. I'm like, I just want to see your stupid game. Like, just show me your game, okay? I don't
Give me
care
more
who you
information.
are, contact me. Yeah. And the two people on that project, you can tell, because I've also played Vampire the Masquerade. That's one of the RPGs that's like one of my favorite RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that they've also played that and that they have a love for that, and the love that they brought from that game and translating it to, there we go, chapters, Vampire the Masquerade chapters. I just saw it in chat here. And you can see how the love that they had translated into it, and then they did such great storytelling with the game, and then the mechanics of the game and moving through and making it like a skirmish style game as well. Mm-hmm. They did such a good job. I was so impressed. And to hear it also came from people that also loved the entity as much as I did. Like, as it was, I was watching the video preview and the guy had like the Ankh tattoo on his arm and stuff like that. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, he totally legitly loves Vampire the Masquerade. I'm like, he's super into it. So those are probably my two favorites.
For me, favorite Kickstarter, well, besides Hero of Land, Air, and Sea, because that's my favorite game ever. I also really like Zaya. Was one of my that's one of my highest rated games ever. I really enjoyed that. Speaking of space games, and then most anticipated Kickstarter, Tuesday Ankh's coming out, and I am day one backing that. So I mean, Eric Lang, come on.
Eric Lang, come on.
Man. It's from. I'm just saying the name of the company it's from. That's basically what it is. Somebody asked, Roy, have you ever used a 3D pen? It's a really fun activity with the kids, I guess, from 3D printing stuff. I can't actually draw, so when I print out 3D printed stuff, it's files from the internet that somebody else has made. I've tried to make a little bit of shapes and stuff on my own in Tinkercad, but I don't think I could do very well with a 3D pen besides making a cube, maybe.
Those things are so interesting, though. I've seen them, and you have they basically just thread it through like a hot pen sort of thing.
Yeah, it looks like such hard work and takes a really long time. But it does look fun. But
right?
Yeah. Favorite gaming apps during social distancing? Asks Cody.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a good question. Let's see here. I'm like, where is my phone? I've just had it. I know we've actually we ridiculously played Scrabble because our family members are on there.
Words
so
with friends.
Heck yeah, we're playing Scrabble with everybody, right? Let's see here. What have been I know Lanterns is always one of my favorites. Okay, Suburbia. I've played because they have this so they have solo campaigns in it basically, and plus crazy. They total up all of your stuff, for you, which that's probably that's the hardest thing about Suburbia is making sure that you total up your scores right versus what other people might have on their boards and what you have on your board and everything. And the app does everything for you, and then it gives you little scenarios you can do, which was so much fun. So I've probably been playing those the most, but Patchwork is one of my favorite gaming apps. Patchwork.
I've played a lot of the Onitama app with my kids. I don't know if you've messed with that before.
Yes.
Onitama is a lot of fun just because it's so simple and so easy. My kids are super young. My son's 7 and my daughter's 6, and the fact that they can play this game is cool.
A great kids game because it has limited options for them, so they can pick. Okay, here's these options that you can pick from. You can do one of them, and it's a perfect kids game because then they get the idea of, okay, now these pieces are going to move across the board in certain ways, and I have to wait for my turn, and the turn doesn't take too long because it's only a 2-player game and stuff, That was one of the few games that I started teaching to my kid at an early age, too, and I think from there we graduated to, what is it, the little hex tiles with the bugs on them? Oh, my gosh. I'm at a loss for games today.
Isn't it Hex?
I thought it was, right? Because it has a bee and an ant and but it's very chess-like, where you put your little pieces down there, and then each one moves in a different way, and you're trying to like capture the other one's queen. Hive, there we go. Thank you, Kabukikid.
Yeah, you said hex, and it messed me up. Hive.
Yeah, well, they're made of little hexes. You know, they're so good. We played that one as a younger kids one too, but we built it up where we had, okay, we're just going to play with like, say, the ants or whatever. We'd pick one bug style. Then they'd learn all those movements of that, just that one bug style. And it's like, okay, now we're going to add another bug style. And then they would learn that one. So now they're playing 2 bug styles. And then we'd add another one. And so they get to learn the game piece by piece as they go through. And it becomes like a very easy process for them. And then by the end, they have like this whole new concept of how board games might operate. Like it was a good one to graduate to. It was fun.
What's the best way to scratch your gaming itch while in self-isolation?
You know what? I mean, since we've been streaming, it's been rolling, right? Because we get to play with everybody. Yeah. And I totally recommend if you have roll and rights at home, or, I mean, there's plenty of streamers right now that are playing roll and write style games or flip and rights or
for sure.
anything like that. Right. And then you get to connect with people live. You get to talk with people in chat. You get to talk with people on a screen. They talk to you. You get to play a game together. And I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day. I was like, man, as a board game community, we have actually... we're like well equipped for this, you know, because we can play some things in private. And then if you don't have anybody in private to play with, we've actually made content out there for you to play along with people and actually be able to interact with people in a time that we are unable to interact with everybody on a daily basis. So, I mean, there's so many people doing it right now. It's so nice to see. Like, I'm super happy to be able to bring that to people, you know?
For me, I sing that... I don't necessarily have anybody here that I can just play games with besides my kids, and we've played several kids games and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily scratch a ton of like I'm such an epic gamer that it's like, But I've been doing a lot of miniatures painting, and I've actually been like dabbling in like creating resin dice. I just posted on Facebook and on like my Twitter and Instagram and stuff a resin die I made with a tiny little pirate ship inside that's a D12 that I can use for Forgotten Waters. But yeah, I like 3D printed a like little ship base, and then like use little like pieces of metal for the masts, and then like used a Dixie cup that I cut and painted for the sails, and like put a little pirate. Like I did a whole bunch of work on one tiny little die. But I think it turned out pretty.
It's the most amazing dice ever because that sounds awesome. Okay.
But yeah, it's like a little pirate ship inside of a D12. And people were
fantastic.
Like, and of course the first question was like, is it balanced? Probably not. Who cares? It looks cool.
You know what? Right. The stuff that people are doing with the resin dice molds now is just amazing. Like, I am a dice collector. I have a literal wall of dice that's like, it's right over here. You can't see it, but it's right over there. I promise you. So seeing the love and craftsmanship that people are putting into all of these sets of dice, like putting little tiny ships in them, or I've seen like little goldfish and stuff, and they look little goldfish bowls, and just, I am always astounded by people's creativity in this community. People make such amazing stuff, and it's so cool that you're doing that, because that's always something that I thought was neat, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't put myself into another hobby because I would just go all in.
I'm always like bouncing from like I love board games and like that's my hobby, but I'm always like dabbling in like gaming adjacent hobbies. It's like making your own dice isn't really the same thing as board gaming, but it's like a little hobby. But I like probably won't stick with it for like a long time, but it's just something I'm having fun with. Like 3D printing, like I've done a lot of 3D printing stuff, but like I bounce from thing to thing. I just like learning new hobby things.
I think that's a board gaming aspect though, because as a gamer, you have to be willing to learn many different games and, you know, playing those games and stuff. So I think that's an aspect with our hobby. So a lot of people just like learning things, which is cool. It's good to have lots of hobbies.
Nathan says, Roy and GloryHoundd, you both are very talented video editors with an eye for graphic design. Your production values are super high. Any formal training there or just learning over time?
That was so sweet. Oh my goodness. That was so sweet. I am not formally trained at all. I basically go into something and I learn every single thing I can learn about that. I do all sorts of research and then I make it my own. So with this, it was just like, all right, when we started podcasting, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn how to make a podcast. I learned all about podcasting, and there was a little trial and error, and then we did it, and then I learned it, and I got used to it, and I was like, all right, I got that down. I got the audio thing down. So that was actually beneficial when we moved to video stuff. I was like, all right, we're going to do video. I'm going to learn all about video. And then this last year, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn all about cameras.
Yep.
So it's just been a learning process, but it's always nice hearing from some people in the community that are professionally trained, being like, you know what, it doesn't matter if you're professionally trained as long as you have the drive to go out there and do it, and you're interested in learning and getting people's feedbacks and opinions and stuff like that, and making quality content just do you, basically, and I think it's amazing because it becomes like an art form, at least for me. I know, like it's a part of my art that I put out to everybody else. I
think it's crazy because I've been messing with graphic design, all sorts of stuff for forever, but I never was formally trained. And we all make videos on YouTube, but YouTube itself is an amazing resource for being able to figure anything out. If I see something in a video, it's like, man, how did they do that? I can go and try to find a YouTube video to figure out how somebody did something. And I mean, the funny thing is I probably got interested in doing graphic designy type stuff from trying to make my own MySpace page. Way back in the day, being okay, well, I need to make this banner, or I actually had some people back in the day paid me money to help them make their MySpace page. That's how old school this is. Oh my gosh,
that's so awesome. Oh my goodness. That's fantastic. But I used to do that too. It's all right, we need to learn some HTML coding and stuff like that. Let's do it. Let's get on board.
Yeah. It's cool. Well, that's that code. How can I edit it and make it myself? And I want this picture to be over here. That's one of the things that I kind of am annoyed about Facebook is nobody's learning those web design skills or graphic design skills on Facebook. It's just just go on Facebook and post a picture. It's that's boring. It's all the interesting
point
stuff.
And click. Yeah, it's a lot more point and click now because it's more user friendly for people. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was all about editing that code. You had to learn it.
Darin says, "How do you feel about Western games in general? Western Legends? ?
Oh no, you guys are digging into a horrible hole.
They're going to judge you if you don't like Western Legends. I just want to say Western Legends is a fantastic game. And if you don't like Westerns or Western Legends, then, I mean, I don't know if there's any help for you. I'm just saying.
Oh, no. Then I reserve the right not to answer. No. I don't think that Western Legends is a bad game or anything. It's just it's not a theme that super excites me is what it is. So even though I could play an excellent Western game, for some reason, I'm not always as excited to play it again. And it's I don't know, it just comes down to
what if Western Legends was re-themed to Mandalorian? Would you play it then?
Absolutely, 100%. Boom. Space-style game, boom. Seal of approval. Okay?
Have you played Zaya?
No, I haven't. I'm going to need to.
One of these days, I mean, we've played games with each other before, but nothing big. Yes, we just played that silly kill each other game. Whatever that game was called. Dead Last. We played Dead Last a whole bunch.
That's right.
Ross asks, GloryHoundd, what's your favorite game? And then very dismissively, he says, we know Roy's. Fine, whatever. I won't tell you my favorite game.
My favorite game? Okay. Let's see here. I mean, as far as board games go, my probably all-time favorite board game is Dead of Winter.
Oh,
and
nice.
That is because, one, I love zombie-themed games. Zombie-themed games are so much fun. I loved the fact that you have those Crossroads cards in there. And at the time, Crossroads cards were so amazing. It was this whole new thing that you could add to a game where, oh my gosh, what's happening next? Something else is coming. I love the fact that you may or may not have a trader in there. Best mechanic ever. I love trader mechanics so much, and the fact that you could possibly not, and everybody's all suspicious as heck at everybody throughout that entire game is amazing. And then having the dice placement portion where you're rolling and you're not sure what you can do until you roll the dice, and then you do that. I think that it gives you like a limiting sense of the game in the fact that, okay, I can't do everything I want to do because like this is the end of times, apocalypse zombie style, but I can still create things with this game and plan things ahead of time. So it hit a lot of aspects in a really unique way for me that it has like a special love in my heart. And I played a game where I was the traitor. I swear we played it for 2 hours. At the very last turn on the very end thing, I got to betray everybody. And that was a fantastic feeling. So 2 hours worth of game. Everybody was so angry at me at the end. It just like ingrained itself in my soul, okay?
See, it's not just me, people. People always get mad at me for doing that sort of thing. And I'm like, no, it makes for epic storytelling moments. And
Absolutely.
It's like you have to play upright the entire time and be like, I'm here for the people. Like I've done it in Battlestar Galactica, and Crystal and Sam were so mad at me because like the very last turn, like you said, I was like, boom, I'm a Cylon, and I screwed everybody
Cylon.
over. I've done that in Shadows over Camelot before too. Like tanked it at the very last second.
The best stand-up moments in that game. Like it really does. I mean, yeah, I love the traitor aspect, especially when you don't always know if there is one. That just makes it that much more risky, you know? It's so much fun.
Any video game you wish was a board game? Or you wish had, like, analogous board game for?
Let's see here. That's a good question. I mean, I would first off just say, like, of the Final Fantasy series would make an amazing, fun sort of, like, campaign-style board game, skirmishy board game sort of thing. But that's just because I love, like, the Final Fantasy series.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I should be able to come up with something better, though. Man, what would be a really good video game board game?
I would love, like, a sandbox or an exploration game that's like Fallout. I know there are Fallout games. I don't really... They're okay, but I would love one that just has a lot more story and open world nature to it. Like, if you could do, like, Fallout 7th Continent or something like that, that would be insane.
Ooh, you know what would be really good? A Witcher board game. Because you
there was
have,
one of
like,
those
all
too.
that lore and stuff like that in it. Like, if you could make a campaign-style Witcher board game with, like, all this storytelling and lore in it, and you're coming along, you're, like, finding all these, like, basically, like, monsters and stuff like that throughout the campaign and everything. You have some betrayal in there, okay? That would be really fun, but I don't know. It's always hard to translate them between each other, you know?
For sure. Yeah, there's so much in these video games and so much of the upkeep that it takes away. The amount of mechanics and upkeep you'd have to build into a game to give you the exact same feel would be insane.
Right.
But if you make them app-driven, stop hating on app-driven games, people. They can make these story games so good because they take so much of that away. Let's see. Samuel asks, what video game... Wait, this is the same thing. That's the same question. It's what video game IP would you like to see that hasn't been done? I'm just going to say what IP in general. Let's take out video game. If there's an IP, like movie, books, anything that you haven't seen done, what would you love to see done?
That's a good question. Princess Bride. Boom. Princess Bride. I would want it to be like a very funny game, though, you know?
Yeah.
I know they've tried to do some sort of like Princess Bride aspects and stuff like that, but no, we need like it to be a 4-player game where you go through the game and everybody gets to be the different character, and then you have different tasks that you have to do throughout it and everything. Like, it needs to be just a full-on where you're trying to visit like different kingdoms and stuff like that and trying to get stuff done. Like, that would be a lot of fun. I've seen... The Princess Bride is such a great IP, and I've seen the RPG for it, and like I said, a lot of like the little mini games and everything, but nothing has quite come close to the same sort of feeling. Because man, like that is just, I guess it's it's like one of the movies that I grew up with as a kid. You know, that was just so much fun. It's like such a great IP. gosh.
I was about to say, for me, it'd probably be, I've said it a bunch of times before, but I think there's a lot of really cool anime that have really interesting stories that I don't feel like the story potential of those have been tapped. Like if there was a Full Metal Alchemist game that actually like made you feel like you were those characters running through the streets and trying to stop the sins and things like that, or if there was like a Trigun game. I know you don't like westerns, but this is space western. But
you know what? Trigun's okay because it is a space western. Okay.
It's certainly not in the West at all. They landed on a desert planet. You know, it's not the same thing. But yeah. Do you play solo games? And if so, what are your favorite solo board games?
Okay, so I've only recently started playing like some strictly solo games. There are some games where you can play solo, like if I did, Railroad Inc. or something, you can technically play that solo. And I would play it solo and stuff, but the most recent solitary game that I've played was Marquis, but I think Side Room Games, I think. And that was like my first delve into, okay, this is a strictly solo style game. Am I going to like this? Am I not? And I have to say, I really, really enjoyed that game. It was solid. I was excited. I played it 5 times in a row. Like, I had a full-on gaming session with just myself in that game. And it really changed my ideas and opinions of playing a solo game. Because before I went into it thinking, why would I play a solo game? Like, I have Dr. GloryHoundd, I have my kid, like, why would I do that? And after playing that, I was like, no, this is something else that I'm going to start pursuing as a gamer and getting into more solo games, like Nemo's War and stuff like that, which are amazing games that I've heard about that I just haven't had the chance to play. So I'm definitely going to do more of those, I think. That's
awesome. For me, I really enjoy the Arkham Horror LCG just because it's got the whole deck building stuff, but then there's like so much story in that game. I really enjoy playing it solo and like going through the story and taking my time to like do everything in the game when I play it solo, and it's been a ton of fun. And I had a lot of trouble because I had waited a while to like continue one of the campaigns, and like the packs were sold out for that one for forever, and I finally got the next pack like literally a couple days ago for the campaign. I'm like, finally, I can start playing some more Arkham Horror LCG. And besides that, I've been playing a ton of the Marvel Champions one solo as well.
That's right. So. I totally forgot about the Arkham Horror one. Like, that entity is used in so many different things. Sometimes I forget about it because of that,
I'm sure you're going to love to answer this question. Daryl asks, how many games do you both have in your collection that you haven't played yet?
Okay. Let's see here. That's a good question. And it's not a fair question, guys. That is not a fair question for a game reviewer, okay? Because we get loads of games in just to have the review done on them or be doing something with them. So sometimes, you get things a month or 2 ahead of time. And so you might have a small pile, okay?
Or you actually bought a game that you want to play and your work causes you to not be able to play it.
Exactly. You put it on the side table because it's good. You're going to get to it, but you have all these other games to learn and work to get through. So that's not a fair question. I have to say, over the last month worth of quarantine, we've worked through quite a few of our, games of opportunity, as we like to call them, on our shelves of opportunity. Okay. But
for me, when I moved down to Miami, my collection got pared down so much that all the stuff in my collection I've actually played. But there are 2 games that are technically part of the Dice Tower library that Tom let me bring home. So I still need to play the new Unmatched set. It's the Raptors for the Jurassic Park. And I have to get that to the table. I'm trying to figure out how to like either play it remotely or like get my kids to like kind of mess around with it because they're not going to be able to play Unmatched to the fullest extent of it. But I'm really excited to play that. And then Forgotten Waters I just took home like yesterday from the studio, and I'm like, I need to play some Forgotten Waters. So
that's awesome.
Okay, what's next? Man, I am so far behind on questions. There's no way we're going to get through all these questions. I'm going to zoom through them real quick and see if I can find some cool question. Here we go. GloryHoundd, what type of music are you into? What is your favorite musical artist?
Wow, music. Okay. Dang. Let me think. This is a tough question for me because one, when I listen to music, I like music as like a bunch of noise put together in one thing, and I don't always pay attention like to the artist and stuff like that, which is probably really, really bad. Like I'm a horrible person because of that. But I like a lot of different music. I listen to classical music for certain things. I will listen to like a techno style music for certain things. I definitely don't like Western music. Not a fan of Western music at all.
Like piano play?
That's right.
Like what's playing when you go into the bar at the Western? That's the Western music?
Exactly. The piano playing or like that soft strumming or something like that.
So you're all into the dubstep.
Dubstep is fun. It is fun, yeah. I'm trying to think. Recently, I've been listening to Billie Eilish, I think her name is,
Never heard of her. Just kidding. She's all over the place.
She's all over the place now, yeah. But I have a big range of stuff that I like. I mean, I will listen to rap and stuff, and I'll listen to older 80s style music. I think I probably have like the most fun with 80s style music because there's nothing like better than jamming out to the car and like embarrassing like your kids and stuff with that, You're doing like Walk Like an Egyptian in the car, people are looking at you, and your kid's like, oh God, please no, oh God.
I'm just trying to skim through this stuff here. People are making fun of my facial hair in the comments.
No!
I'm sorry! I made this thing where I was like, I'm not gonna shave until we're back at work, and now now they're just making fun of me on the internet because that's what people do. I don't care. But yeah, I think most people know what type of music I like. I'm into pop punk stuff, and I like MXPX and Blink-182 and all that stuff, the Wonder Years, and people are still talking about other stuff. Let's see here. Well, we're running out of time, so hey, let's do a little bit of this or that, because I like to end on that just because it's so quick and fun. So people choose two different things, and me and GloryHoundd will pick one of those two things.
Oh my gosh,
in between those things. And we're going to try to super lightning round, do that stuff real quick. But let me pick one more question while people are loading those in. But you just hit us with a ton of this or that's, and I will make GloryHoundd pick a ton of them. Kabukikid says, I've been playing Scrabble on the PS4. Aren't you supposed to be playing the new Final Fantasy VII on the PS?
Oh, I know, the remake? Oh my god, Final Fantasy VII. Ugh, I can't wait to play that.
Wow, I am so far behind on questions. I'm getting to where people are telling us that Hive is the name of the game. Oh, nice. Somebody said that the dice that I made looks great. Yay! Oh man, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. Cool. Here we go. R2-D2 or C-3PO? Definitely
R2-D2.
R2-D2 all day long.
Yes.
Sun or moon?
Moon. Gosh. The sun gives you skin cancer, guys.
Yeah, but if the sun wasn't around, we'd all be dead.
That's okay. That's what we have light bulbs for, okay? Just light stuff up.
I don't think you've thought that... So
Not completely disappeared. Are you talking about without gravity and everything? Heck no.
No. What I'm saying is, if the sun was gone, your answer is light bulbs. I'm pretty sure we freeze to death.
Okay.
Immediately.
Okay, so maybe we're just behind something else that's really big. Like that sort of sun is gone, okay?
Pirates or astronauts?
Astronauts. Space. It's all about the space.
Astronauts too, because space is cool. Oh my goodness, I don't know. The two of Thor's hammers. I can't say these hammers' names right. Mjolnir and Junsborn or whatever. The other big one. I'm gonna say, that's a hard choice. One has Groot's arm. The other one.
I'm gonna say Mjolnir because that's like classic.
Exactly.
I'm all about that classic.
Oh man, you've watched Endgame, right?
Yes, I have.
Man, I know it's dumb to say, But the scene with Captain America and Thor and Thanos right there at the end, I literally teared up like watching
really?
that.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, I was getting misty, and it wasn't. It was just because it was that cool. I'm like, why is this
You're
so
like,
cool?
oh my God,
It is
fanboy.
like premonitions. Everything's coming together, and it was like tears of joy watching a Marvel movie. And
That's
of course,
awesome.
it didn't help that I had Tom Bassel beside me just screaming like, yeah!
That's amazing.
Darkness or light is very similar to the last
Darkness
question.
or light. Yeah, darkness. I work best at night.
There you go. Cake or pie?
I'm going to have to go with cake. And I know Suzanne's going to be so angry pants at me. Like, I love
Pie.
cake. Oh my gosh.
I
love
like pie
cake.
just because icing's too much, but I feel like I answer that question every single time they put it up here. Peanut butter or chocolate? Chocolate.
Peanut butter. I love peanut butter so much. So good. You can do so many things with it.
What is this? Bonanza TV show or Big Valley TV show? I'm guessing these are Westerns.
So mean.
Okay, prequels or sequels? Probably sequels.
I love prequels because I always like having that extra bit of where everything
Backstory.
came from.
Elder Scrolls or Fallout? Fallout.
Oh, that's messed up. I love both of those. Dang it. I'm going to have to say Elder Scrolls because I play the heck out of that.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
I'm going to say Star
All
Trek.
in Star Wars. I watched Star Trek too, but man, Star Wars caught me as a kid.
How, you don't even have to ask this question, Nathan, for GloryHoundd at least. Dogs or cats? I mean, there's gonna been a cat on scene half the show. There's a cat in the and a bat in the background. Come on.
Right?
I like dogs better, but I don't have any pets. Coke or Pepsi?
Ooh, I don't drink soda. I don't actually drink soda. I do not like it.
Boom.
It hurts my teeth, guys. Like, yikes.
Snakes or lizards?
Snakes. I love snakes. They are so freaking cool. Like, I don't know. And they're like so powerful too. I've had like some boas and stuff wrapped around your arms or like those giant snakes. And you're like, oh my gosh, this thing could kill me.
I've had both as pets. I'm going to say lizards just because they're easier. Like, lizards you have to feed more often, but snakes, I was just always nervous about feeding them just because when you see them eat, they go hard. And it's a little bit intimidating. You're just like,
snakes are no joke.
Whoa.
Yeah. Snakes are no joke.
Awesome. Red or blue?
Red, obviously. It's all about the red.
I'd have to pick green. Okay, let me get one good last one to end on. Let me see if there's anything good. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Ooh, Street Fighter. I gotta be Chun-Li every time. Like, man,
Yeah,
Chun-Li is where it's at.
I like Street Fighter better too. Awesome. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this thing up. If people want to check out your content, whether it be your podcast, your videocast stuff, your playthroughs, or any of that sort of stuff, where can they find more of that things that you do, GloryHoundd?
All you have to do is go to gloryhound.com, and that's GloryHoundd with 2 Ds at the end. And there you can go to my YouTube and subscribe. You can go to my Facebook. We have Instagram. We have Twitter. We have all the things. And right now we're doing Roll and Rights on Thursdays. We talk about Kickstarters on Fridays. On Sundays and Mondays, we're doing playthroughs of games. Like, we are bringing lots of content to you guys because we know that you guys are bored at home, and we have a super live interactive audience. No matter what we're playing, we're always talking to you guys in the chat. We love hanging out and hearing from you. It is so much fun. Come down and join us.
Hype. And thanks so much, GloryHoundd, for coming on. Thanks so much for always helping us out with our Kickstarter stuff on Board Game Breakfast. It's always a blast to see.
Absolutely.
And,
I have so much fun doing it. Thank you for having me.
And we'll see everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.